All right, welcome to the Quest for Excellence podcast. My name is Jeff Montreal. I'm your host. And to say that I'm excited is an intense, would not really portray how I feel right now about today's guest. I'm ecstatic to have him here. His name is Singh. Jesse is a world-class affiliate marketer, a seven-figure entrepreneur who also happens to be a mentor of mine. And he's a major contributor and the affiliate course creator for the online digital education platform that I'm a part of called Entre Institute, which is run by a gentleman named Jeff Lerner. Jesse's also a man of deep faith and conviction. He's somewhat of a fitness guru, which I respected a lot about you, and really just an all-around freaking awesome dude. So without any more gabbing from me, Jesse, welcome to the show, man.
Thanks, Jeff. Excited to be here. It's been an amazing journey for me for the last several years. Many obstacles in the way, but you know what they say, right? When you put your mind to it and you really stick it out, it does happen. Like I'm living proof.
You are, and I to be full transparency, I listened to your podcast again today, just as kind of prep for the interview, talking to you and with Jeff on Millionaire Secrets, and that was his takeaway from you too. You are like the shining example of just the regular everyday dude who did the damn thing, and now you're living the life that most people desire, right? So before we get into that, if you're cool with this, because I really like to dig into like really where you came from, kind of your formative years, because that always has some kind of factor in how you turn out. So if you want to go into like little Jesse for a minute, talk about when you were growing up. I'm assuming that was in Canada. I don't know if you have any brothers and sisters. I know a little bit about your family from the podcast, and your dad was, I think, a 30-year construction guy and had the same job forever. So again, you could talk about whatever you want to discuss about your kind of formative years when you were a kid, but I'd love to hear something about that.
Yeah, I had a pretty good childhood. I wasn't one of those, people that, didn't have a good childhood. I guess in the Indian culture is very family orientated, and that really helps. So I have one younger sister, and throughout the years, it was really just family. So family was very important. I didn't have that many, like, say, friends. I didn't hang out with too many friends. It was a lot of my cousins. So in our culture, we just have a lot of cousins, and we hung out like friends. So it was, I'll do it all over again if I could. I was very interested in video gaming, and I was very a techie person, and the whole Nintendo thing. I still like that stuff now.
Oh yeah. Hell yeah, me too. Yeah. Out of curiosity, do you still keep in touch with your family like you did when you were a kid, with that group of cousins, those friends?
Yeah,
they're still a part of your life. Yeah.
And
see, that's interesting. I don't mean to cut you off. I apologize, but a lot of us go through high school and school, and we're friends through association, like by circumstance. You know what I mean? So I had a feeling that you guys have been, and it probably says a lot about you and your character when you've got a good group of friends that aren't just they happen to be your friends because you're in the same class, so that's awesome to hear. But anyway, carry on. So I'm also into gaming, so I'm not sure if you went to traditional college. I know about your early life, your work, and we'll talk about that. But like schooling wise, how did that go through in Canada?
So in schooling wise, it was weird. Like I knew I wasn't dumb or anything. It just didn't interest me, especially in high school. For me, it was just like, get it done. If I get 60%, which is like a C here, 60%, I'm good. I don't want a D. I don't want 50. I want to do at least 60. So my mentality back then was a little bit different. I just wanted to have, more fun and all that stuff. And so schooling was okay. I never failed at anything. I made sure I never failed. I had that.
That's a good benchmark to have.
Yeah, just don't fail. Good. Just even if you don't like it, just get it done, kind of thing. And the strange thing is, I guess my when I really started applying myself was after high school. So high school was just like whatever for me. But after high school, when I went to college, so I always wanted to be a car mechanic. I was always a gearhead. And so that's what I went into for my college years. Just really know the car industry and, how a car actually works. I didn't want to be just a mechanic. I wanted to make sure that I know exactly how every single little thing works on that car. So when I have to diagnose it, like a doctor, I guess a car doctor, I would be able to pinpoint it much, much quicker if I know how the thing works. Mm-hmm. So I went to college for 2 years. I did extremely well there because I enjoyed it. So in college, I had an average. My average was 95%. Like people came to me, be like, "Hey man, what are you doing?" I'm like, I love doing this stuff. I like researching.
It's my passion.
Yeah.
Right.
So I went from 60% in college, and soon as high school, and then once I got to college, I was like crushing it. Even one of the teachers, our transmission teacher in the course, the first day, he was pretty intimidating. It was just like, there's gonna be people in here that are going to throw up before and after the exam, and I took it as like a challenge.
Yeah.
So I took it as a challenge. I'm like, oh, okay, let's see. And then I pretty much proved them wrong about me. I ended up getting 98% in this class. And he was just like, wow, okay. I knew exactly, like, the transmission, the clutches, all torque converters. I knew exactly how those things worked. I can visualize them, and I was always a visual person, so I could visualize everything working mechanically, and that's how I when I did these tests, like it just came to me.
I got two takeaways from that, and one I wanted to talk about, so I'm glad you kind of brought this up, but we'll bring this up further at the end of the conversation. It'll kind of tie back together. But I know you know this. We've even talked about it. Jeff discussed it with you and your podcast with him. But the current education system, and compared to the reality of like the new economy, right? There's such a disparity there, and it's getting worse every couple of months. It seems like with Moore's law and with technology advancing. I feel like, and even your example, and it could have been in high school or general education in college where you're just going through the motions, right? You found something you were passionate about. You were in the same kind of environment that you were just learning new things, but because you loved it and that you found interest in that, you excelled. Imagine if that same mentality was applied in, junior high when you're 5th, 6th, 7th grade. It would have such a drastic effect on the world. Again, this could be a whole nother podcast right here, but to hear you say that you went from, I'll get a 60 and be happy to, holy crap, I love this, and people are questioning how you're doing so well. That's an indication of how our education system is failing young people right now, big time. So appreciate that. So, and you answered a question too about kind of how you got into the mechanic life, and let's keep the ball rolling. So you became a mechanic. That was your career for, I think you said 4 years. You did that extensively, right? For 4 years, you were, a top dog. You always, top of the leader list, doing great. One of the people that you're tracked around you and all that. And I know you mentioned this, but I'd like, if you're cool with this, I'd like to hear a little more detail about what happened, because it didn't seem like the takeaway for you was, how can I take advantage of this, not play the victim role? But you had a really bad accident that threw your life on a completely different trajectory that, even looking back now, you probably couldn't even imagine, the life that you have before that. So if you can talk about, give me a little mini version of what happened. I know you got rear-ended, but that's really all I know. Was it a really violent accident? Were you in a ton of pain? So if you want to talk about your accident and just what happened, I think that'd be valuable.
So what happened that day? It was, I still remember the day, June 11th, 2013. Exactly. It was around, was at 4:50 p.m. coming back from work. So I was just, I was at a regular stoplight. It was a red light, and like any other day, I was at a stoplight, and then I noticed this SUV was coming in pretty quick, and I was just kind of eyeing him, like, okay, he's going a little quick. Maybe he's one of those late breaker guys. And then I noticed when he was like 20 feet, I'm like, I don't think this guy's gonna stop. So I saw this thing coming, and there's nothing I could have done about it because there was cars in front of me, and then I couldn't. There was cars beside me. Beside me, and so I couldn't avoid this thing. And I'm like, okay, I gotta brace for impact here. So I just grabbed the steering wheel. So I think it would have been better if I didn't see it. That way, you're limp and your muscles aren't.
Right.
So I just braced for impact, and he saw me last second. I saw his steering wheel turn, but it was way too late. He's going around I gotta go in mile an hour. I gotta change it from kilometers to miles an hour. I think it would be
yeah, you're good.
40, 50, 45 miles. I think it was 45 miles an hour. He
Oh my God.
smashed the back. Car was done. It was a write off. The whole rear end was accordion. There was no trunk. It was a 4-door.
Was he on his phone?
What's that?
Do you know why he hit you? Was he distracted? Was he on his cell phone? Was he not paying attention?
He was
wasn't
paying attention. He wasn't even looking straight. He was looking at the other side of the other side of the street for some reason.
Oh wow!
And he hit me. I'm glad that I was in good physical shape to begin with because I was a mechanic. So I even worked out a little bit back then. So because of that, I think because of my health and my nutrition and all that, it didn't seem that bad at that time. So I got out of my car. I'm glad I could even get out. I didn't feel any pain because all my adrenaline's flowing. And then the guy was just like, "Oh my gosh, I didn't see you." Da 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 da. And at the time, I was just like, I wasn't super angry. I'm just like, I'm glad at the time I was feeling good because so much adrenaline's pumping through me, and it was so hard that the car went up 4 feet. Like I had the brakes on.
Wow!
It went up.
Did you hit the car in front of you?
No, he was. I think he saw what was going on, and he kind of like jumped forward. So I was just like,
well, that's crazy. So, once the adrenaline wore off, I mean, were you like, holy shit, this is horrible and a lot of pain, or did they kind of take you to the hospital? Because I had a similar experience like this. 5-second story. I used to do road construction on the highways and by the University of Michigan. I don't know if you know what a attenuator is. If you see people painting the roads, they have the huge like yellow accordion looking thing behind the truck. And somebody hit that. Thank God. If I wouldn't have had that, I'd have been dead for sure. But hit that. They were doing 70 coming on an on-ramp, like full speed. This lady in her Jeep. Yeah, it was wild. I still had a neck injury and got taken to the hospital. But so anyway, after you, so I can kind of relate. When did you really understand that you had a serious injury? Was that a couple minutes later?
It was literally the next day.
So did you not go to the hospital?
I was like, I feel okay. I was always one of these people that, when you're young, I was pretty young. I was like, you feel like Superman at that age.
Superman.
So I'm like, I'm just going to brush this off. And the next day I couldn't get out of my bed. Like I couldn't get out.
Oh, shit.
So then I had to get to the hospital and they just did all these x-rays and they saw a lot of soft tissue damage. My wrists.
Nothing spinal.
No.
It wasn't any.
It wasn't. It wasn't so bad where it was going to keep me paralyzed, but it was enough. There's no way I could do my job at least for a year or two, as a mechanic. Like if it was a desk job, maybe but as a mechanic, I couldn't do that job for a while. So what happened was after that was, I went to many, many doctor visits, make sure everything is healing correctly, tons of physiotherapy. And, in that time though, the problem was this, like if I was compensated by my insurance companies properly, it wouldn't have, like if they even paid 80% of my income just for that time being, because this wasn't my fault, it wouldn't have been so bad. But they were literally paying me less than half because they had a maximum of, I think it was $400 per week. And that's Canadian, by the way.
Didn't you say that was only 80% of your mortgage too? It wasn't like you could just sit and eat ramen every day. You weren't even. It didn't even support your mortgage, right? Isn't that what you said?
That's right. I was getting paid $1,600 a month, and my mortgage was $1,850 a month. Just my mortgage.
So well, it's ridiculous. Like I don't even want to talk about insurance. I remember you saying that too in the podcast before. You didn't even want to go down that road because you start getting pissed. I totally agree. It's nonsense. It should have been more than that. Like you were stuck. You couldn't move. You're blocked in by cars. How are you not being compensated properly? Anyway, so perfect segue though. So you're at home, and look, this is one of the things I want to discuss. And this is a pivotal point in your life, right? You could have said, you know what? I'm just going to be a fat, lazy turd. I'm going to take this insurance money, maybe do some kind of part-time work that I could do, whatever, some kind of office job, and just kind of make it through until my body maybe heals and I can go back to the mechanic life, right? That was a definite path for you. That could have happened. So, do you remember, and maybe it was when you did that first Google search about like making money online, but do you remember what was the click? When did you, and it could be, you know, over a couple week period as you dug, or was there one thing where you're like, all right, this is, you know, grabbing my attention, giving me hope, inspiring me that this is real? Was there one thing that happened that put you down that road? Or like I said, was it kind of a collective, let me kind of figure this out kind of deal?
It was more of because I had no experience online. Like I had no idea what the internet world was going to be like. So for me, it was more of like a general search. How can I make money online? And then eventually what got me very interested was this whole, you know, email marketing and affiliate marketing, where you build an email list and you just send out an email, and that can make you possibly hundreds and hundreds of dollars. Well, that's what the gurus said back then. Anyway.
Yeah. Right.
So obviously as a beginner, but you know what? That's what I thought I could have done, because, you know, they're never super transparent. So I'm like, okay, I send out an email to an email list and I can make, you know, hundreds of dollars. I was like, okay, I'm in, right?
Yeah, so easy,
yeah,
right?
This is gonna be so easy. I'm
Yep,
gonna be rich. I don't have to do anything. I don't have to go to my job again.
I gotta ask, was the first dabble into this, where you first dipped your toe in? Was this the MLM network marketing experience you had? Was that the very beginning, or was that at a different time?
That was way before. So I would say that the whole network marketing started around 2010, because my boss at work joined a deal. It was a
gotcha.
But I was actually hooked a bit. I'm like, it's just because I guess there's a lot of personal development in them, and that's what really gets you hooked. And then it's all about success there. But obviously it didn't work out too well for me. I didn't do too well with network marketing.
You know, I wanted to ask you about that, because, you know, we're all the same people. You grow and you learn and you get new skills and all that. But at that point in your life, because you're obviously an incredible digital marketer, world class, but then do you remember what were some of the either mistakes you made, or like a different perspective you had back then that just did not lead to success? Was there something you were doing that, you know, now you would have done differently?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So with network marketing, what they taught was you talk to everybody in a 3-foot radius. Doesn't matter who they are. You talk to them about your product and your deal. And you know what happens is, just naturally as a person, when you get so many rejections, it's just like, what the heck? These guys make it look so easy on stage, but when I'm out there doing it, it's not working. So what I found out was that, you know, these people already have influence, and when you have influence, you know, that attracts people naturally. So what I really wanted to do was, how can I attract? So what I was missing was, I don't want to chase people. I want people to come to me.
Right.
So that was a big takeaway for, you know, when I was in network marketing. I'm like, I was chasing too many people. And that's like, you know, when you see a billboard on the highway, they're just going after every single person. That's not really the best way of marketing. Best way of marketing would be, or a better way would be, actually targeting your audience, you know, get your products, buy your product services. So that was like a mass marketing billboard on the highway. They're just marketing to everybody. That's what network marketing is. That's what they taught. And I think that that's a very, I wouldn't say dangerous. It's just a very, I guess, deceiving way of doing marketing, because the average person, there's no way, like, I guess I would be the average person. There's no way I could talk to, you know, say 200 people and I get one yes out of 200. That's just not very motivating.
Right. And you can't just apply the 10x thing to that, right? And do 2,000 calls.
Yeah.
You won't sleep. You'll be making phone calls 20 hours a day. So no, I totally agree. I had a little bit of experience with that, both almost getting into it and then knowing people that did. And then actually servicing a facility with a job where it was the huge floor of people, right? Hearing the scripts and all that. It was too much. So obviously you went away from that. Years go by, you know, you get in your accident, you're stuck somewhere. You know, it's not like you were, you know, in a wheelchair, but you couldn't do what you were doing to make a living to support your family. I think at that time, you had 2 kids, right? You're married with 2 kids. So you decided affiliate marketing. And for anybody listening, that just very briefly, from, you know, an expert like yourself, in one sentence, for, like, let's say our grandma asked you, my grandma said, what is affiliate marketing for just the layman so people can understand what it is?
Affiliate marketing is pretty much just selling other people's stuff and getting a commission. That's really, so this way you're not
Yep.
You're not building your own products. You don't have to go through that whole, building your own course or product or company even. You're just referring people to a good product that that is good, and you're just getting a cut from it pretty much.
And it's funny that hearing you say that, maybe me a year ago or some people listening, and I think this is kind of one of the misconceptions, and maybe you can help squash this maybe once and for all. But I've heard, and in discussions as I've been involved with Entra and talking to other group members and being somewhat of people have gravitated towards what I've said. I have some really good talks. And when it comes to affiliate marketing, some people, even if they're involved in it and they're going to be doing it and they're learning it, there's this kind of weird, it's almost like it's a dispassionate thing to do. It's all about metrics and, scaling and what's the hot thing. It's not really about your inner passion. But I mean, look at someone like yourself. And I want to ask you a question too, and this can kind of go right into your answer. But, you mentioned when you were a mechanic, you knew then, even though you were doing well, right? For all intents and purposes, upper middle class, doing pretty good, could have survived your whole life, whatever. But you were, I remember you saying that you didn't want to settle and just, accept that was it in life. You didn't want to be comfortable. You didn't want to get into that mode. Well, it's interesting that now, fast forward, X amount of years, I'd say the lifestyle you're living now is really comfortable compared to what most people do in their begrudging, 50, 60 hour a week job and their lifestyle just to support their family, and they're not seeing their kids. So you've got this incredible life. And how do you, I guess my question is, how do you deal with that kind of comfortableness now? Is it because based on the skills that you've learned, that regardless of what happens in the economic climate or in the world, that you're always going to be able to make a living doing this? Is that why it's okay to be comfortable now as opposed to before? I guess kind of talk on that for a sec.
When it comes to, so what changed really now is I don't have a worry about my finances, which it's a very big thing. So I don't worry, but I do get, I always been like this. I don't like feeling stuck somewhere. So even though I'm comfortable now, I would say an average person would feel really comfortable with when I feel like I'm not growing, something starts burning inside of me to do something else. Like, I always have to elevate myself higher. I gotta become better somehow. I can't stay here. This is not it. See, I still feel that way. Even as a mechanic, I was like, you know what? This can't be it. There has to be more than this. Something has to be better than this. So even right now, I'm still driving for that. I'm still trying to better myself, learn more. How can I get to the next level? Like I never liked staying where I am for a long time.
Understood. That makes complete sense. And that's kind of what I figured, not that you're just so comfortable and you're so blasé about your life, it doesn't matter. No, you still have that drive. And I would guess that due to the nature of what you do, having several, maybe double digit offers and tracks going at once, you're always kind of doing something new. You can try something new, offer a new product. And also, and this will kind of also lead into where I wanted to go next, into your course creation and doing that with Entra. Still side question. Have you thought about doing that as your own, having your own affiliate agency, creating your own courses, or are you fully into Entra during your own kind of personal journey? I was curious about that.
I've actually done a few courses in the past, and they're just limited time runs. I've done I've done courses. So I'm familiar with courses, and I've always got good feedback from them. I'm not trying to gloat. It's just what it is.
No, yeah. Of course. Dude, no, your stuff is stellar, man. Like I feel like how I do like Jeff. You're just a regular guy has some amazing accomplishments, and you know how to tell people what you've done. It's that simple. You're not gloating. You're awesome. It's all right.
Yeah.
But, okay.
So,
go ahead.
So I've experienced with that, but one thing, see what happens is, for me at least, is you're never partner. So I was partnered with somebody, and they weren't really doing what they were supposed to be doing. And this person was amazing marketer like myself, but they were just not doing what they were supposed to do. And that's what happens. You need a team, even if you have your own course, you still need a good team, and it's very hard to find a good, a set of people that are willing to do what you're willing to do. So people that have my kind of drive. So that's why I kind of got out of the whole my whole training stuff for a while and start doing just CPA marketing. That's just, I was just promoting stuff that's like out of our niche, like education, mortgage stuff. And I was just getting them traffic leads. So the mortgage companies, I'm just driving leads for them, and they're paying me for the leads. And I was happy, I was doing well, 5-figure months just doing that. So then, yeah.
Can I ask you a question about one of those? Because this is, I'm real curious, and this will enlighten some people on a different way to look at this and actually what you do for a living. And like one of the ways you talked about and again, this is more of a kind of a step-by-step so people can understand what you do. You talked about a car loan funnel that was a CPA, a click per acquisition, right? So I'll let you take over, but you got a car loan funnel at one point, and this is months ago when you recorded your interview with Jeff, but I'm curious, if you still have that, and for people listening, it's simply, you're looking to get a car loan through people going to find Jesse and being familiar with Jesse and maybe getting an email about this. They fill in their information because it's something that they need. It's not like some, garbage product from overseas. It's they need a car. They need a car loan. So when they fill in their information in that list, Jesse gets a cut. He gets a portion. He gets paid. So if you can talk about that, and if it's still running, and the different kind of ways to use affiliate marketing and not just come to my page, buy my pair of glasses, have a good day. It's way more than just that.
Yeah, there's so many avenues you can take. So I do still have that funnel. It's still running today.
Nice.
And actually, I'm not even connected in the funnel. They don't even know who I'm really. I'm just. They don't like. It's not like what I do with Entra, where I'm like open and they're seeing me and all this. This is just like, hey, do you need a loan for XYZ dollars for XYZ interest? We are, you may be qualified, blah, blah, blah. Put your email address in. And then when they do, I send them to the company. And it's a legit loan company. And they do their best to see if they can get those leads qualified. But once they get to that page where they input their information for that loan, once they enter that, they pay me $5.
Nice. And
so it's just $5 to fill a form.
Right. And you're not doing any customer service. There's no point-to-point sale. There's no, dealing with somebody on the phone. All of that regular business stuff goes away. Like you said in the beginning, you're just getting people to go to somebody else's offer. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's not dispassionate. That's really how, 70% of all the sales in the world happen is through some kind of affiliate reach. Like even Amazon has no products. They're just a huge affiliate site, right? For the most part. So once you can wrap your head around that, I'm sorry, go ahead.
It's like a digital word of mouth.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a digital version of that. Like if I like something, I'll tell my family, like, hey, I got this, whatever, this supplement or some kind of computer device. I'm like, this thing is working awesome, and they're like, okay, I'm gonna go get it too. So that was a word of mouth. I'm just doing the same thing but digitally. So it's just, I can reach way more people that way. So that car loan thing, I can reach hundreds and hundreds of people and then send them to this place where they actually are looking for a car loan.
It's
they
valuable.
need a car loan.
You're not just putting garbage down their throat. And that's where the misconception is. People see that's what it is. Like you're getting thrown stuff just to make other people money. That's not really what it is. And if you can find something that you're passionate about, like Entra or a digital platform or some kind of program that's helped you, it can be a passion project. It isn't just one quick question too, out of all your major offers or funnels, is the only place that your face is out there, is it Entra? Are you kind of anonymous with most of your other affiliate work?
Yeah. Entra is the only one.
I figure, I know that's cool. That's, again, some people don't want to do like what Jeff did and build an agency and have staff and do all this, phone work and clients and all this and retention. And you don't have to do any of that stuff. You could do it. And like you said before, we're talking on a bit of a higher level from where you are, but just figure out one thing, learn how to do it, which we'll talk about Entre and how that can help you. But learn one thing, do it, test it. If you could talk about this too, because this is something that I think I've seen a lot of people, I made an ad, spent $50, got nothing. What am I doing wrong? If you could talk about the idea behind split testing and on a very kind of ground level way of describing that to people who are just getting started, because you might have to not just spend a little money, but have one idea that you put out there in a couple of different ways to see what sticks, right? So if you could talk about that, I think that'd be valuable for people.
Yeah. So when it comes to any kind of marketing, you should do some kind of split testing. So like our business or my business, most of my businesses, it's just really lead generation. I'm just driving traffic to a capture page where I collect emails. So that's my main business. I'm just driving traffic to collect emails. So if I can optimize that better, let's say I put up 2 pages and they rotate, and I see one is, one page is getting, say, out of 100 people that see it, 50 people are putting their email address, where compared to the other one, only 20 is. I just almost tripled my business because I just changed the word on one page. So I leave everything the same. I change the little things, like I might change the title only and see how that works. And what I do is through the split testing process, let's say the 50 email one is winning, I will get rid of the other one, and then I will see if I can beat that 50. And I've gotten to the point where I've had some funnels convert at 80%. So 100 people will look at it and 80 will leave their email versus 50, or industry standard I think is 25. So if you can get more than 25, and not many people do this, they don't split test their pages. I mean, like, we're in the lead generation business, really. If you're not split testing that, you're just leaving a ton of money. You could double your business by just doing that simple step.
Yeah, right. And people are stuck in the whole kind of analog marketing world where, like a TV ad or a print ad or something. And in that same world, you make one little tweak, add a baby's face or take away that one word or whatever. And similar kind of thing. People just don't even understand the digital world to even know what that means. So if you're listening and you're just getting started and you already, have a blog and you want to promote some things, you got to test it out. Don't be butthurt if your first offer doesn't do anything or your first ad. That's kind of natural. You got to spend some money to make money when it comes to that. So that's great stuff. And now that you're talking about that, just without going into too much detail, what is, and this is going to, I'm getting this question from people and I see it all the time in our group. What is the best way to drive traffic? Just period. What if it's one program, one way you do your copywriting? What have you found to be the best simple way to get some kind of traffic to your offer, your website, your email list, whatever? What do you think that is?
There's a very that's probably one of the worst questions. Not because I want to bash anyone. It's just the reality is people are looking for this one secret, powerful way, right?
Yeah.
But reality is that I might do something well, another person might not do well with that. So, for example, I love search engine optimization. I like blogging, I like ranking on Google, but not everyone's going to have the same level of success as I did. It all depends on how, what you're passionate about. If you don't really like doing that stuff,
right?
That's not, so for me, I could say doing, ranking websites on Google is the best way, right? I can say that, but that might not be, that's not person. They might like YouTube better, and then they'll be like, oh, you know what? YouTube is doing way better. Or then, and one person's like, what are you guys talking about? Facebook ads is king here, right? So it's all depends on what you like doing. So what I usually tell people is pick something that you really enjoy, that you're having fun in the process, and then just get really good at that thing. And that's it. Yeah.
I'll give you a quick example of that with me, at least. I don't want to talk too much about me at all, but when I started this entre journey back in my birthday in July 9th, podcasting was going to be like a medium to long-term afterthought, similar to kind of how Jeff did it, in networking and growing his influence through other influencers and thought leaders. But I wasn't planning on doing this at all. I was going to do a YouTube page with some affiliate links and a blog. Now this has been my passion project, and it's taken over, and to add to what you said, I hope everybody heard that, because that was kind of a fishing question. It wasn't about a tool or some kind of program. The best way to drive traffic, or another way to say that, the best way to get people to come to your message is just be yourself. And by doing that, you have to be self-aware, not give a shit what people think about you, and embrace what you like. Similar to you in school. When you were in regular school, you just barely skidded along. You went to a place where you loved it and you excelled. It's the same thing with anything, your business, your life, your marriage, your kids. You got to focus on it with the right kind of energy. So I love that. Again, that's the answer. There is no one thing, the best way to optimize Aweber, the best thing to say. No, just be yourself, learn the skills, and keep at it. And then eventually you'll start getting traffic. So no, that's fantastic. Now, this last little bit here, I really want to go into because I don't think I know this exactly, but kind of your journey with Entre, how it's helped me, and then, your future plans and what Entre can do for other people. But how did you and Jeff initially meet? Where was the first point of contact? Was it just digitally through some work you did with each other? Did you meet him at a conference? How did you guys initially connect?
He reached out to me when he was first starting Entre. So I think this was, I don't think it was the first time. Wait, hold on, let me see. I think he started Entre around December of
2017, right?
Yeah,
2017.
So so what happened was, I think he reached out to me in March, and he just said, "Hey, I'm launching this new company. It's gonna be really good. It's gonna be an education platform. There's nothing else going to be like this." And for me, I just don't just promote anything. I'm very picky on what I promote. I always have to make sure, because my reputation's on the line, because I've been building this reputation for several years. And I even got I wouldn't say, I even got tricked in the past of thinking something was legit and it wasn't. And then when that thing went under, I just felt terrible. Like I was like, that was one of the reasons why I got out of the whole in your face kind of marketing and start doing the stock mortgage stuff and the car loan stuff, was because I worked on that, that company for 2 years straight. And then suddenly it was just shut down. And, I just felt terrible, and just felt terrible for all the people that put their money into it. And so I had I pretty much disappeared from the social media and all that for a couple of years. And that's when Jeff reached out to me, and I was just I was still being a little skeptical. I don't know. This kind of sounds like, something. Yeah.
Dude, of course.
And then he showed me, all the the legal stuff, because by now I pretty much studied all the legal jargon in this space, and I knew exactly what a legitimate business runs like and how a scam would run like. And that's what I do on my YouTube channel. I bust scams. Yeah,
I wanted to ask you about that. I was going to bring it up kind of towards the end, but if you want to talk about that for a quick second, you spend a large portion of your time, and they're great. They're always super informative, and the agenda is what it says. You're trying to either prove or disprove offers and things like that. So how did that even come about? It's a huge part of your life, really.
For me, it was just I was just getting tired of these companies taking advantage of people and just not being front about it. So I decided to be, I started to inform the people in our space, because those kind of people give our industry a very, very bad name. So I'm just going to call them out if I see that they're not doing the right thing.
Yeah.
So not all of my reviews are, negatives. There's some positive ones. So I always go by what, for example, the US would be what the FTC and the SEC, what they would consider legitimate. And I go by their rules when I am, doing a review on a company. And if they're not following those rules, for example, like in an MLM company, the rule is, according to the FTC, the company must produce more retail sales as customers than having affiliates recruit each other or affiliates buying the product themselves. So the retail portion of it has to exceed the affiliate side of it. And when I see a compensation plan and I see it's just recruitment driven, there's incentives, And I just called them out. Hey, this is going to get you in scheme trouble in the future. And so this is what I judge all my videos by, the companies and reviews. I go by what the law says, and then I judge it by that. And a lot of people get, I guess, butt hurt by that.
Yeah. Have you had major pushback from any that was pop in your head that were like a real problem based on your review?
The biggest would be like, oh, I'm gonna take legal action. I'm like, okay, I'm ready. I'm like, I have all the evidence against you. I'm like, you'll probably get shut down once this goes public. if you do a lawsuit with me.
Oh wow.
So yeah, like that, like little things like that, or just affiliates get angry. Oh, how do you know? Because you're not in it. I'm like, I don't have to be in it by looking at the law and checking to see if this is a legitimate business model.
Right. That's funny though. The fact that you really haven't had a major problem proves that you're doing the right thing. That you're actually calling these people out. And I've seen quite a few of them, and some are like, oh my God, the audacity of people to do this. And you're right, things like that. And I would guess that real big blow to your digital soul when that company went under. I'm sure that was kind of a big part of it too. Even if that wasn't a quote unquote scam, just helping people not feel that darkness you felt during that time, because it's you're a passionate dude. You were probably all in, and I can only imagine if we end this call, I open my Facebook up and Entre is closed down and there's no more website. I can only imagine how I would feel. So I definitely understand that was probably a big deal. So anyway, so that's awesome. I didn't really know about you and Jeff or how you met. So you got on board. You eventually said, let's go. Initially, I know you were a part of just creating really Entre from the beginning, and you took over the affiliate portion, the affiliate training, which not blowing smoke up your ass. It's really, really good stuff, man. I kind of got taken over by my podcast journey, and I still had to finish the course. I knew you were making some new additions. I'm kind of waiting for all that as well, but it's just amazing stuff. And even if you just did your training with Entre, just the affiliate stuff, it could completely change your life. So if you want to talk about the period of you building your courses, how that felt for you within Entre, how that experience has been, and why you think Entre is not what you might have been worried about before you hopped on board, because we both know it's not. But yeah, just talk about your whole beginning adventure.
So in the beginning, it was
Entre.
I was just an affiliate, so I was just promoting. So one of the good signs for Entre was that their affiliate program didn't require you to actually buy in anything. So that's called pay to play, right, and the FTC hates that. So the fact that you can come in for free if you know what you're doing, you can promote their program, and you can get paid for every single sale that comes through your affiliate link, regardless of how small or big, and you get credited 100%. That to me was like, okay, I haven't seen anything like this. Usually you have to buy the level, the $5,000 level to sell the $5,000 level. So it's always been like that. So this was a first, to be honest, in this industry. And I think there's a few other companies decided to go that route after, but they're nowhere near where the Entre is anyway. So I don't really consider them competition. But so I was an affiliate, and I see that the affiliate side was, and then the information that we're getting, the quality of information that we're getting exceeded, my expectations, because I actually went through every single thing in that. So I pretended to be a student, and I went in, and even as someone that, has been doing this for a while, even I got gold nuggets from that. So for me, it's all about those gold nuggets. Like I might know a lot, but I don't know everything. And, it just takes like one little piece of information sometimes just to really have that breakthrough. Like you're like struggling with something, and I just take that one gold nugget, and boom, like it just takes over, and you're good to go. So I was just an affiliate, and then eventually Jeff came to me and he said, he said that the affiliate course in there is great. However, it's starting to show its age now, like it's lagging behind. And then he said, if I can partner with him on that, and maybe just do the affiliate course, because I'm actually in the trenches. I'm not someone that sells courses. I'm actually doing what affiliate marketing is. I'm doing that day to day. So it's not like I did it
right.
years ago and I'm making a course on it. It's I'm doing affiliate marketing still today, and I'm still testing, and I'm testing new offers. Yeah, real time.
Yeah, it's real time, right?
So my whole goal was to the problem with the courses that I've ever bought, like I've spent probably over $50,000 on these courses in the past. So the problem is there's too much fluff. There's no hands-on, like step by step, even the simplest things. They assume that you know it. And to me, that was like the hardest, I guess, the hurdle to get over is like, I still have to connect certain dots. And I didn't like that. Like when you, like I've spent thousands of dollars on a course, and then if I still have to connect the dots, like on like just like a setup thing, it's, to me, that's like, it's just like
a bit scary.
Do you know what you're talking about, or like, did you do this once 5 years ago and you're talking about it? So
right. Or did you make a course off somebody else's course and just copied it? That kind of thing.
So I wanted to make sure nothing was left behind. It was over the shoulder. It's my screen, and I'm going through my funnel. Like I'm connecting it live. Like everything. Like like it should be to the point where you don't have to worry about connecting the dots. I connected the dots for you. And so I always wanted to have a training where it's just to the point. It's simple enough that a newbie would understand it, which is what it should be. It shouldn't be complicated. And that was my whole mindset. So I want to get people actual results doing this. And that was my mindset behind it. And my first, I guess when we first launched it, it did very well. Like it definitely exceeded people's expectations. But for me, I'm always been like, I don't like just staying the way it is. I always want to improve it. So since I launched the course, I've put like probably another 20 more videos to it just to simplify or clear certain questions that people have been asking. So what I do is, if I see a lot of questions on a particular topic and this is getting repetitive, that means I'm not doing something right. I might not be, giving the message out properly or for people to understand. So when I see certain feedback and it's the same kind of feedback on a particular subject, I go back, I make sure I redo it, and hopefully to, get to the point where they can understand. So that's what I do. I look at feedback and I adjust according to the feedback.
I think this is an important takeaway from what you just said. And for people that are new, or even someone like me, if you would have had your ego up front because people weren't getting your message or understanding what you were trying to say, that might have caused you to be like, well, no, it's their problem, not mine. No, you decided, look, all this, everything can always improve, even myself. And if I didn't do this right, and you might have looked at it before you got that feedback and said, this is great. But just like when we talked about split testing and getting the right message out there, you're doing the same thing with your courses, and they're awesome. They really are. And you're so unlike a traditional professor because you're actually doing the damn thing every day of your life. You're right there on the cusp of affiliate marketing. For anybody who's new or who's an expert like you're in it, which is amazing. Like that value is you don't get from just some college professor. It's an invaluable tool to have. So I'm excited for the future affiliate stuff that you're going to be doing. I know, not really rebranding, but there's a whole lot of new Entre stuff coming out and all that. So we're a little bit running out of time, and I wish I could sit here for like 4 hours and talk to you. But I want to respect what we said. We'll keep it around an hour. So in this last 10, 15 minutes here, just a couple final questions, and then I want to get your kind of take on a couple things. The first one, which I'm really curious about, you've talked about it a bit. We all know this is coming. I've talked about it in a couple of my podcasts, but I'm curious and how do you think this is going to affect the affiliate marketing world? And what I'm getting at is automation and AI. It's getting to the point now where, and I was looking at this morning at possibly investing in this company because it's going to happen, and Rallies and a couple other places are already using them, but there are these robotic arms that are in restaurants that have taken the place of 2 to 3 employees that can do the work faster, more efficient, with less problems, and they don't call off. They're always there. You just plug them in, right? So, and that extends to the trucking industry. You know, walk into a Taco Bell, you can place your order on a screen. You don't need to interact with anyone. How do you see that evolving? And what's your advice for people who are kind of stuck in that old world mentality where my job is safe, it doesn't matter, like things are changing regardless, right? But what's your advice to people that might not be able to grasp that?
I actually have been saying this for a while. McDonald's is a great example of this. They have their own like teller now. Like you can just go order a burger on a screen, and then like now this replace the cashiers.
Yeah.
And if you go to Walmart, it's mostly self checkout now compared to actual people working there checking people out. So it's going there anyway. And I've been warning people about that for a while. People, the problem is that they always, these minimum wage jobs, they always want more. The thing is, these are just, in my opinion anyway, these are just beginner jobs you get when you're a student or like early 20s and you're transitioning to something better. The problem is like people just end up just doing that, and they just don't want to improve themselves to get something better, and they stick it out. And there's only so much you can get paid to flip a burger. I mean, and eventually it gets to the point where the business owner is like, I'm paying this person, like in Canada, we're like at $15 an hour now. So at Canada, like I'm paying this person $15 an hour to flip a burger. I'm just gonna, I'm gonna invest in some kind of technology where that can kind of do that for me, and then I have to worry about paying them any kind of health insurance or pay them any kind of pension or anything like that. It's gonna be a lot cheaper, and they don't call in sick. So the minimum, I think what happened is the minimum wage going up is causing business owners to look at technology because they just can't afford to pay people $15 an hour for for example, a Big Mac is like $6 here. They're probably only making like $1 on that thing. Yeah. So that's what's happening. And even like in the trucking industry, the truckers they can get paid a lot of money just going across state or the province here in Canada. They can get paid thousands and like tens of thousands of dollars to do that. And for them, they're getting into, auto driving vehicles. So Tesla, I think, is testing their trucks. And if they can do that, that's it for the truck. Yeah, that's it.
Oh, it's all over. Yep, that's it. And you can't, for anybody hearing this, you cannot deny this. You can't escape it. You can fight it all you want, or just put your blinders up or put your head down. But like Jesse's saying, and there's it's going to happen, right? This is not it's an unavoidable evolution in our society with technology and Moore's law and the way things work. There's always going to be human connections. I don't think we're going to end up like, if you've ever seen WALL-E, the guys sitting in chairs floating around, weighing 400 pounds, and we're all like that. I don't think we're going to get like that. You need technical skills and mechanics. It's not going to be full robotic anytime soon, but layer by layer, our regular economy is going to start to go away and replaced by friggin' robots. And it's not a moral thing. It's going to happen. It's good. People, once you understand that good business dictates these kind of things to happen, it isn't some kind of moral questioning. That's good business, and the point of business is to make money. So like you said, if you're going to pay some dude $15 and I can make a $1,500 investment for one thing that'll do that job for 5 years, what's the smart thing to do, right? So is anybody hearing that? If you're in one of these industries that's already transitioning, you're hearing this, like, start to make a plan. And I think me and Jesse might have an idea of something you could do. And yes, this is kind of an advertisement, but if you're looking to get yourself involved in the whole digital landscape, and I guess where I'm coming from, and I'll let you take over, what I'm doing and my message and my mission is kind of a pre-entre thing. And you kind of alluded to it a bit on here. You get online and you see these flashy dudes in their Lambos and their super nice all glass offices, and it just seems so amazing. And if you're in a really desperate position, you might make a bad decision at that point and hop in and spend a couple grand or 10 grand, but you weren't ready for that, right? You got enticed to do it. My whole goal, like I said, kind of a pre-entre, is to get people to where they're in the right headspace to start this journey. So when they open the door, they don't fall right off the cliff. they've got their footing and they could keep going and make that 1% progress every day and get to where they want to be. Now, next step, once we get people to that point, if you could talk about Entre as a whole. You've already discussed it a bit of how it's valid. You've done your research. You're one of the probably top people in busting things like this. So it's not, you're working for them. Obviously, it's legitimate. So if you could talk about Entre, the impact that it's already had, the recent growth, which I know has been incredible, and where do you see Entre going, into the foreseeable future?
Like what I really liked about Entre was it really fit with my whole, I guess, view on life, where you need to, it's not just about making money, it's about your personal relationships, it's about your physical health. Like it's all ties into one. Like you can't focus on just one thing more than the other. You need to work on your mindset, which is Entre is all about. You need to take care of your body, because if your body's not feeling good, you're not going to mentally feel good. And then ultimately, if you don't have those two things in place, how are you going to excel on something that's new and that you have to learn? How are you going to excel if you don't have the mindset in place for you to excel? So for me, mindset is number one when it comes to anything, because I was a car mechanic. My mindset as a car mechanic was totally different. I knew I had my job there. I go in, I get paid, and that was it. Where there's going to be a little bit of obstacles because it's something new, right? So what happens in the beginning is you're in the learning phase, and a lot of people quit in this learning phase. But it's sad only because it took me 9 months, close to 9 months, to get my first breakthrough. And if I quit 9 months, like say 2 weeks in or a month in or 2 months in, I wouldn't have enjoyed all these things I have today. So if I just said, okay, forget it, I'm gonna go back as a car mechanic, after a year or two, and that would have been it. It would have took me, I think I did a calculation, almost 35 years as a car mechanic. Like it would have took me 35 years income wise as a car mechanic to make what I did in the last 7 years. So imagine how far you can go with that, right? Now you can think about, like, I have 3 kids now. I can, if they want to go to college or university for a specialized knowledge, I always told them this: don't go in there for something general. It has to be specialized knowledge. If you want to be some kind of engineer, a doctor, or a lawyer, that's fine, right? It's specialized. Those kind of jobs are not going anywhere. It's just those general jobs that anyone can do are gonna go. So if they want to do some kind of specialized knowledge thing, I have no problem with that. I have their funds already. I don't have a mortgage anymore. My cars are paid off. This is what happens if you really want something and you just stick it out for the long term. And like I said, if people quit after 2 weeks, and that's like the saddest thing I ever see. It's like a mindset thing. And what Entre has is they prepare you mentally. So when you're going through this, you're already prepared. You're not going to quit. You're going to go through this. You know exactly what's going to happen. You're going to have proper expectations. We're not going to tell you, oh, you're going to become rich after 3 weeks. None of that crap. Right. Like it's going to take time. Yeah, we're going to give you realistic expectations. And if you look in the real world, if you decided, I wanted to actually buy, like my family and I were going to buy a Tim Hortons here. It's a coffee shop. And they wanted $250,000 up front, and it was going to be $40,000 a month in expenses. And it would have took me roughly 3 years to finally get a profit. So this is what traditional business owners know, and that's their expectation going into these things. The problem with people having a job and transitioning to this is they don't have that kind of perspective, that expectation. They think it's going to be instant, and sadly, it's not their fault either, because a lot of people on YouTube are advertising this way. Their flashy cars or Lamborghinis. To be honest, those people are renting those things. Right. A lot of people these days are even getting busted for lying that they own this $10 million home. They're getting evicted, saying they can't pay the rent anymore. And it's just, like I said, the industry, it's just disastrous when it comes to that. So Entre is different because we're going to give you real expectations and tell you how it is. And because you know how it is, you have that in your mindset, and then you're just going to go with it. right? You're not expecting to get rich the next month. You know, it might take you a year. It might take you a year.
Yep.
Like it took me a year. That's only because I have to connect the dots. So it's a lot different for the people that get started with Entra. They don't have to worry about connecting all the little dots. That's already going to be there.
Yeah.
And really, it's going to be the fine tuning that what you're going to be working on. So fine tuning, to optimize everything that's you've been taught in Entra. So Entra is awesome. This only the reason you got started with it because the 3 Ps, the personal, physical, and the business aspect of it really resonated with me, and it probably resonates with a lot of people.
Oh yeah,
because that was like, that's how Entra starts. It starts with your mindset, your physical, your personal relationships, because it's not just about just making money. You're gonna make the money, you do it long enough. That's gonna happen. Yep. It's all about what other aspects of your life you're improving. So it's as a whole. And for the long term, I think we're gonna be probably, I know it's gonna be the biggest entrepreneurship platform on the planet in the next probably couple of years or so, because there's no one else out there that's doing this the way we're doing it. Everyone is getting one-on-one mentoring. No one's really doing that. The actual advisors in Entra care. Like I was just on a call with somebody yesterday, and it was like at midnight. You know Dan Martin, right?
Of course, yeah.
He was with the student off his time. Like he didn't have to be with the student, and he went out of his way to help the student. And he asked for my help, and again, I didn't have to help, but I decided, you know what, I'm going to help, because that's our mentality here. We want to go above and beyond here. We just want to do what we're supposed to do. We want to go above and beyond, and that's what Entra is all about. Everyone just goes above and beyond their expectations, and no one here has an ego. I don't have an ego. I know that I did my course, but I also knew that I might miss something, because I know a lot of this, and some newbies might not know it, and I might have missed it because it's just coming natural to me, right?
Right.
So that is why I keep my mind open. Like, okay, I'm getting this kind of feedback. Okay, there's some one thing that a lot of people are asking, and I guess I didn't do a good job with that because they're asking that, and that's why I go back, because I might miss something, because I just know it, and when you know it, you might miss the little fine details because it's just happening automatic for me. So Entra is awesome. It's gonna really explode in the next couple of years, and it's already happening now.
Yeah, it is.
I'm just excited to be part of the journey.
I am as well, and just an amazing statement, by the way. It gave me goosebumps a couple times, but just for me, from kind of on the other end, you're on the back end, already a success. Now you're helping people in a massive way. From somebody who's just opened the door into this world, my life has completely transformed more than I thought possible in a couple months. I'm talking, I'm a completely different person. You mentioned it might take a year, 6 months, 2 years, whatever. I am so confident in myself, and Entra has infused me with this new power that I have. I don't even care how long it takes. It could be 5 years. Like, that's not even on my radar. And I got to say one more thing. You mentioned it. We've been talking about it a little bit, but ego. People might find a course like this and have some difficulties or not know a lot about the digital world, and they feel frustrated. They feel like they're dumb. If you can put all of that aside, put your ego away, the cognitive dissonance that you have, where your beliefs are so strong, nothing can change that. You got to get rid of that. You got to be able to have a clean slate, re-pour a new foundation, and learn some new skills. And you can't be a know-it-all, stuck-up person to do that. You've got to completely bare yourself. And if you do that and come into Entra with an open mind, it will change your life. I've quit smoking after 20 years. I've transformed my body physically in like 3 months. And I want to talk about some fitness stuff, but we're completely out of time. But the Entra is, you're correct. It's incredible. I am inspired every day by the staff, Jeff, yourself, the community. It drives me to be a better person every day of my life. And it's never going to go away. Full transparency, Jesse, before we got on, I got messaged at the time of this recording, Entra is about to be producing a kind of a video testimonial thing online on Facebook to kind of promote the group and the mission. And I just got a message that, hey, Jeff, we'd want at least get your feedback. We might want to have you on there. And it felt so good to write out what I'm kind of saying right now and the impact it's had on my life. Anybody hearing this, if you're sick of your job, right? You know you're destined for more. You can see it, but you're not sure what to do. And you don't want to just go on YouTube and fish around, swim around for months and maybe find an answer. At least come to Entre and take a look, because it has the potential to change your life, your family's life, and future generations of your family. It's a real deal. So Jesse, we are already over time. I would sit here and talk for another hour. Maybe, all my prior guests, for the most part, are new or entrepreneurs who have found a bit of success, and I'm going to be having them back maybe 6 months down the road. I'd love to have you as a guest again as well. We can talk about the new Entre training, new affiliate stuff you got going on, new developments in the affiliate world, the digital space, and all that. So this has been incredible. And I guess one final thing, and then I'll let you, if you want to share where people can find you, but if you could give your old self, just starting out, sitting at that computer with your bum back, obviously not in the greatest space, but if you could tell yourself something right now, that old Jesse, to help catapult you further down this successful path, does anything pop out right in your head, or really for anybody just starting out? What's the best advice you can give them just to get going?
The best advice I could ever give is just believe in yourself. To be honest, like a lot of people just don't, and the truth is that you're capable of a lot more things than you think you are. It's just like, if I just had that mindset, if I'm born to be a car mechanic and that's what it is, like I would have been stuck there. But your mind is scientifically proven that it's not completely hardwired. You can actually rewire your brain completely to do different things. So just believe in yourself. Remember, your brain can change. You put your belief in it. You feel, once you start believing yourself, you can be more confident. Once you get more confident, you're going to get better results. And it becomes like a circle. I wouldn't say a vicious circle, it's like a positive circle. The more positive, the higher your belief, the better the result. Then you're going to go back to your belief level again. It's going to get higher, and your results are going to get better. Then you're higher again. And it's just going to snowball until you get to your goals, or whatever those are. It's going to be different for everybody. But yeah, whatever your dreams and goals are, you can get there. It's going to take time. It's going to take effort, right mindset. And everyone can have this mindset. You can get there.
I couldn't have said any better. It starts with belief, which this is a hard thing to hear for a lot of people, but that comes from within. You're not going to get that from a guru, your partner, your parents. That comes from your soul. You tell yourself, I am going to do this, and you will. Just believe it, right? It's literally that simple. Amazing stuff, man. So Jesse, dude, thank you so much. This has been incredible. I feel better off selfishly. Like, this was great. I learned a shit ton, and I feel like people who hear this, and as one of the first, incredibly successful people that I've had on here, I really appreciate that. It's not about adding credibility so I can get more leads. No, it's just, you just added so much value to what I'm doing. It really means a lot,
problem,
man to man.
You know
I really
what they say,
that.
you give, to me, I'm like I said, I'm a very spiritual person. God gives you back sevenfold. Whatever I give, I'm good. I don't expect anything, but it's gonna positivity is gonna happen in my life. It could be any way possible. It doesn't even have to be like a money or anything like that. It could be say, and even if better than you. So if when it's like, okay, I'm not better. Like I
You didn't even think about it.
I'm not gonna be like, oh,
yeah, it was great.
I don't know if
it's pretty rare to find out there.
I didn't make any excuses, because my whole thing is I live by the golden rule. It's you'll probably see on my Facebook.
Yes.
And like I've been living by that for a long time, and honestly, it's that's changed my life. So I'm just continuing to do it. Get your ego out of the door, and we're all equal. We're all people. We're all human beings, and we're all capable of greatness. So I'm glad to be here to help you, Jeff.
amazing, man. That just absolutely incredible. So I appreciate your time once again. This has been amazing, and I know the audience is going to get a ton of nuggets out of this. So yeah, it's been great,
No
Jesse. I'd love to
problem,
have you
Jeff.
back, and again, I really appreciate your time, man.
All right, take care, Jeff. Bye.